Good morning and welcome to Sylvia's Travelogue. Today we have with us Mr. Jeffrey Callaway. Mr. Callaway is the Special Assistant to the Fire Chief for Prince George's County's Fire EMS Department. Mr. Callaway and his wife have traveled extensively throughout Europe, Central America, and the United States. Just to list a few places that they have been: Ireland, Costa Rica, Tulum, Mexico, British Virgin Islands, throughout California, New Mexico, North Carolina, and Vermont. And that just begins the list. He is definitely a world traveler. Today, he will share with us his latest adventure, a river cruise down the Seine River in France. Again, thank you, Mr. Callaway.
Thank you.
Just tell us a little bit about how you all decided to go on this particular vacation.
Well, it was my wife's 50th birthday, so we wanted to do something special, and her family in the 1950s lived in France. So she wanted to see the town where her brothers grew up and where her parents lived while her father was deployed with the Air Force in France. So we decided to take that trip.
Oh, great. That was definitely a great reason for deciding on this trip. Okay, can you just share with us some of the highlights of this adventure?
Well, it was a river cruise up the Seine, and it was in the spring. We were able to start in Paris, and from Paris we went to Conflans, and in Conflans we saw the town where uh, the great artist Monet lived, and his gardens and home. His gardens, the water gardens, many people are familiar with from his paintings of the water lilies, and he was very inspired by the gardens, and they've maintained his home as a cultural site, and we visited there. We also went up the Seine to the Normandy region and stopped in several towns along the way that were medieval architecture. Towns like Rouen and Los Angeles and Conflans, of course. And once we got up into the Normandy region, we visited the D-Day landing beaches and the American Cemetery. All those were very moving. I have a picture to show you that is actually from Ever-sur-Oise, which was the town where Vincent van Gogh lived the last few months of his life. And many people would recognize the church in that as the photo of the church at Ever-sur-Oise, which was one of Van Gogh's famous paintings. We also were able to see the boarding house that Van Gogh lived in, and the scene of his last painting, which was Wheatfield with Crows. It was the site where Van Gogh was standing when he was struck by a bullet. There's confusion as to whether it was a suicide or a murder. So it's one of the great mysteries. And also next to that location is the grave of Vincent and his brother Theo. They were very moving to see.
I'm sure this sounds like an extremely exciting vacation. And how would one go about planning this type of vacation?
Usually there's a lot of good online resources that you can do for trip planning and for taking a look at what sort of reviews different resort destinations and travel companies get. A great site for that is TripAdvisor. It's where we started and found the river cruise company that we ended up going on. There's 3 or 4 lines that travel the rivers of Europe, and the one that we chose got very high recommendations, and it was more economical than the top-end pricing. So that's usually how we do it. We do a lot of online research prior to booking, and that way we can make sure when we get there that the accommodations are to the standard that we enjoy and that the resorts are phenomenal. We've never been steered wrong in using TripAdvisor.
Okay, thank you for sharing that information with us and the information on this wonderful cruise. This is the third time that Mr. Callaway has been with us on Sylvia's Travelogue, and I'm sure we will be inviting him back again.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
so much.
Thank you.